What's going on, my mathletes? That's right, Mr. Muscarella, the Broad Run High School Math Department there, coming at you. And we're going to take this special time to talk about special angle pair relationships. So let's go. So first, in our notes, we're going to take a look at what a supplementary pair means. Now, supplementary is going to talk about two angles that are supplementary if they're measures, right? If they're measures, so we're going to write the word measures in here. Add up to 180. Now here's a key word right here that we want to focus on. A pair is only two angles. All right, so we want two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Now generally speaking, when we take a look at that, you can think of it like this. So kind of like angle 1, whatever that is, plus angle 2, whatever that is, they must have a sum. They would add up to 180 degrees. All right, so that's what we're going to be working at here with supplementary pairs and supplementary angles. So when we take a look at this, right, we'll first take a look at this chart here that's got several different examples. So go ahead and read it to yourself while I read it aloud. Given the following angle measure, find the measure of its supplement, the angle that would be supplementary to the given angle. So I think to myself, what angle, when I have 180 degrees, when I look at my given angle and I want it to be a supplementary measure, those two angles, the given angle and the supplement measure, they've got to add up to 180 degrees. So when I think in my brain, since I have one of those angles, I'm like, oh, okay, 180 minus 120, that will give me the supplementary measure. So for 120 degrees to start out with, that means the supplement would be 60 degrees. Likewise, if we took the 30 degrees, and that was one of the angles, to find the other one, so we would have 30 degrees being subtracted from 180, and that would just give us 150 degrees. Now, 90 degrees, when we take that from 180 minus 90, that is going to be a total of just 90 degrees. And I've got one other angle here. Ooh, this is a little challenging one here, so I want you to think about this for a moment. So this guy right here, a lot of people would want to say, oh, that's just going to be, if I do that arithmetic, right? If I do 180 degrees minus 189, that just gives me -9. Nope, cannot be negative. Not in this course. You do not learn about negative angles. That's when you're older. But for now, we need to be between... we need to be greater than 0. So if you end up with a negative value, or if one of your angles is more than 180 degrees, then that just means that there is no supplement. So no can do. So no supplement for you, Mr. 189 degrees. So we have no supplementary angle for that measure. Now, on the other hand, when we take a look at 135 degrees, we got 180 minus 135. That difference will give us a total of 45 degrees. So when you have one angle and you got to find its supplement, you just subtract the given angle from 180 degrees. That'll give you the supplement. Now, let's move on to a word problem, shall we? Yes. So here in example 2, we're going to take a look at this word problem. Find the measure of two supplementary angles if angle B measures 6 degrees less than 5 times the measure of angle A. Wow, that's a lot of words right in there. So we got to come up with an expression for angle B, because they already tell us angle A is actually X. So this piece right here, so angle A is going to be X. And this is really, really important because this sets up a key for us. So we know that much, that variable is going to represent angle A. Now, the challenging piece for a lot of people is figuring out, how do you come up with a good expression for the measure of angle B? So for angle B, so let's kind of take a look at this. Angle B, so they're saying, all right, that part measures 6 degrees less. So if you take 6 degrees less than something, you take the something, whatever the something is, and you're going to subtract 6 from that something. So that's the first piece. Now, the second piece that we have along with that is this other expression here, 5 times the measure. And what are we taking 5 times the measure of? So that 5 times the measure, that piece, that little part will just be 5. And then the measure of angle A, like, hey, they already told us what that was. That's kind of nice. That is just X. So when we put those pieces together, a good expression for the measure of angle B is going to simply be, so we would write this like this, measure of angle B equals one of the expressions we came up with, 5 times the measure of angle A. That is our 5x part. And then 6 degrees less than that is where we put the -6. So you got to be careful. Make sure you put it in the right order, because commutative property does not apply to subtraction. Because if you have, say, 10 minus 9, we get one value. But if we do 9 minus 10, we don't get the same number. So that commutative property of addition does not hold for subtraction. That's why there is none. All right, so be careful. Make sure you get the order right. Now we put that all together. We're like, all right, we've got this. To figure out the supplementary angles and solve, we know, let's go back to that general equation, right? The general equation was angle 1 plus angle 2. That has to add up to 180 degrees. So angle 1, which in this case is angle A, so we could think about that like angle A and angle B, so that could be our angle 1 and angle 2 there, right? So angle A and angle B, angle A, that just has a value of x. And angle B is the expression 5x minus 6. Now, since we're finding the sum of these two angles, we don't have to worry about putting parentheses around the expression 5x minus 6. Now, the first thing we'll do here, combine like terms. So 5x plus the 6x, so these two guys, their sum, will just give you 6x. And when you subtract 6 from that quantity, that'll give you 180 degrees. Now, adding 6x over to the other side. So 6x was going to equal 186. So on the side, I'm going to kind of think to myself, 186 divided by 6. So I know that 6 is going to go to 18 3 times. Nothing's left over, so that's cool. And then 6 goes into 6 once. So when I divide both sides by 6, I will get a value of 31. So that's how much x is. So let's go back and figure out, make sure we answer our question. All right, so angle A, we have to find measure of that, and that's just x. All right, so angle A, that had a value of x. So sometimes you'll see it written like this. The measure of angle A is just going to be 31. Now the unit here is degrees, just like in segments. When we add and subtract segments, the length of a piece, we would have centimeters, inches, all sorts of different units. So when we talk about angles in this course, mainly they will be in degrees. Now to measure angle B, that one's a little more complex, right? Because for angle B, we've got an expression for that one. So that expression that we came up with before is 5x minus 6. So the measure of angle B is going to be 5, but then don't forget, x, we figured out, that's 31. And then minus 6. So when we do the arithmetic on that, 5 times 31, that's 155. Subtract 6. When we find the difference of those two values, we get 149 degrees. So the measure of angle B is 149 degrees, and the measure of angle A is 31 degrees. So make sure you write a sentence, because sometimes our teachers will want us to write that. So you could say angle B and angle A. So angle A is 31 degrees, and angle B is 149 degrees. So you'd write a sentence with that, and then boom, you're done. That's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully now you can know what a supplementary pair is, two angles that add up to 180, and you can write an expression to figure out the measure of two missing angles, or one of them, if they are supplementary. All right, thanks so much for watching. You guys make it a great day. Peace out.